Yeah, yeah.
What I'm just saying, from the legal underlying right or not, I don't think that's your issue, but just like.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just. consider this guy
That person buys an apartment, they're gonna have to have that. to be rid of one. Yeah.
Yeah,
If they're on that, if the person buys it and then I found out later, you really don't argue to do currently on that. If we didn't know and.
Once they close on it.
Yeah. So, and there's no interaction between you and them.
well, I mean,
Done until it comes to us.
Yeah.
Permit.
but I mean, realistically, the difference of putting driveway on 20 versus, you know, the town road, I mean, there's cost there, but it's not undoable
Amen.
to put a driveway under 20, the curb cut on 20.
That's what I've been saying, you can't do that, that's what the note says on the plan.
Yeah.
There's nothing you can't, there's no access.
That's how we didn't want them back.
And like I said, I don't want to pull on 20.
Yeah,
Yeah, but I can't imagine if you were commercial under anyways, wanting to.
You might get residential, that might buy this.
Even still, it'd be an awkward thing if you were pointing your, that property, to go down to,
yeah,
you know, Creek Road, turn, and then, you know.
I appreciate your opinion, but that's,
Yeah.
since you can't do that, and then there's some man may want to, that's why I'm asking the court to have some kind of. What's it, legal opinion, how does that make that stay?
You want this open or closed?
Oh. I suppose. Does it affect the air conditioning?
Subdivision got filed.
Does it affect the air conditioning?
With no time to speak, that's what we had. When it got filed, that way it was memorializing on the survey. That's why we didn't just leave it as notes in the conditions. We made them add that note to the survey drawing.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
It's not, I don't know, probably did that, but, yeah, if I want that piece of property, I want to get a survey of that piece, which doesn't say. Here's.
Our, yeah.
It's dark in here. Yeah, your council.
Being retired.
You know,
Did you initially pay your better? Didn't you?
Started getting there.
I was only, it was swaying around, but lot of wires down.
Where's that?
Only.
You get it, drop.
Oh, kidding, you didn't?
Yes, there's.
Yeah. Store all around. Oh, yeah, yesterday we figured at my dad's house.
Yeah, you're a mile.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't, yeah. Eddie, you're putting it on the cigarette. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So that, always, you're not seeing here. Yeah, literally a bigger look. Yeah. And then, so then it comes to and all that. Yeah, like right now, the time. Yeah. Fine graded minus, you know.
Yeah.
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 March 31st.
That's according to. First out of my, there's like, next time, one person, but it's blurry, leather. Yeah. Well, I might be in it, but look, we don't know why there's. Hey, going? Right.
We have to get a drop there, like, yeah.
I.
What's that? Hey, that's good like that. All right, I can see you. I'd like to welcome everyone to the town of Williamsburg, planning board.
That's recording. Okay.
On June 20th, 2024. And it's cool in here at least, so it's a nice place to be for a few minutes. My name is Jeff Schmidt. I'm the chairperson of the board. I'd like to go around the table so I introduce the board members.
Good evening, I'm Mike Harris, I'm the vice chair. Matt Hoffman, planning board member. Mike Walpole, planning board member. Josh Howland, planning board member.
Our council to the planning board.
Okay. Agendas have been posted on the town website, and there are some amendments to tonight's agenda, and I would like to defer to Teresa Wagner to explain those.
The first amendment to the agenda is that the public hearing at the last, right tonight on the agenda, it says there's going to be a public hearing on Kruger Energy. The problem is the planning board at the last meeting just tabled the application. They didn't make a determination to have a public hearing because the application is not yet complete. I haven't understood how the mistake was made, but everyone who received notices that there was a public hearing tonight, that I apologize was an error, that there isn't going to be a public hearing on the agenda because the board didn't authorize a public hearing. And the applicant had never even intended to come tonight because they have not completed everything they need to complete. So, so that is off the agenda. There's still the open forum, but for those people who were expecting Kruger Energy to be on the agenda, it's not going to be on the agenda. So again, terribly sorry, not sure how that happened. There will be a public hearing in the future. It may not even be as soon as August. You know, it may be September timeframe. Keep looking at the agendas, and also you'll receive a whole new notice because this one was just a mistake. So.
Okay, great. Thanks, Teresa. And again, we're sorry if any of you attended specifically for Kruger's public hearing. If you'd like to stay for the rest of the excitement this evening, you're more than welcome.
There's no shame in
No shame. Okay. The first part of our meeting is typically the open forum, which gives anyone in the audience an opportunity to address the board on issues of concern regarding planning in the town or other activities in the town which the board may or may not have jurisdiction on. We ask that you limit your presentation to about 4 minutes and identify yourself by name and location within the area. So with that in mind, I'm going to make a motion to open the open forum for the town of Williamsburg Planning Board, June 20th, 2024 meeting.
And I'll second that. Oh, we get second.
Am I doing this again?
My God.
Chairman Schmidt?
Yes. I'm just gonna do last names, okay? Howland,
Yes.
Hoffman,
Yes.
Walpole, yes, and Harris, yes.
Okay, so if someone wants to address the board, feel free. Okay.
I had a question about the Gunnels Road subdivision.
Could you do quick name and
Michael Bierman, BEHRMAN, 126 Mexico Road.
Thank you.
So the question I have is about the restriction that was put on the subdivision on access to lot one. My question is, how does that restriction pass on to the future owner of lot one?
Survey, we haven't had to know
Yeah.
for that point of. No, well, here.
Teresa, also, I stopped by the drop box that they picked up a flyer where we showed lot one for sale. And there's no indication whatsoever on this piece of paper that there's any kind of restriction for access from Mexico Road. And I just don't want the buyer to get stuck, because the buyer's not gonna have the subdivision, so,
Well, the buyer should have the subdivision plan.
um,
Okay, I know that a lot of times buyers don't know they should.
you know, they.
But the answer-
Yeah.
The answer to your question is, where is it? It's in the record of the approval of the subdivision, and it's also on the filed plat.
Okay.
Because it clearly says lot one to have access via US Route 20.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
that's concrete
it's
enough.
on the plat. Clear as a bell.
You said it's somewhere else where it's in work, you said on the application or?
No, in the minutes of the meeting, there was a condition that we had.
Not a good see.
Yeah, but the thing that everybody will always get is, is the plat that's filed with the county. Anybody can come in anytime and get a copy of that, and it means that it goes down through the title, so it's binding on subsequent owners.
Okay, I'm understanding. My concern is that someone just buys the property and then only gets the survey for a lot more. That doesn't reflect this, no.
They, if that's the case, they have a bad attorney, I can't fix that for them, but it's in there, and Chris Parslow, who's the code enforcement officer, when they come in for a building permit, is gonna know that it can't have access except off of Route 20.
And I'm understanding. So I'm concerned that someone will buy that and find out after they bought it that they can't use it the way they want it, and that becomes a problem. Not just for them, but potentially for the board. So
Not a problem for the board, we
Yeah.
won't approve it, that's it, so.
it's time.
Just wanted to- Yeah, I wanted to solidify that because that note probably should have been included with the lot one, the photo count. It would have been,
Well,
Nice
it's
to know.
important that Chris knows, and Chris knows he was here, and Jeff, if you feel better about it, send him a note, tell him the lot's for sale, and.
Yeah.
Okay. Teresa, do you know, does the town use HTE? The
HTE what?
computer program for
I'm
building.
sure not.
Okay.
I would be shocked, you'll have to ask Chris, we
Because
know,
if they use that program, they can put a notice right in there that flags it, go to, issue a building permit. It has like notifications.
right? Typically, the code enforcement officer is here tonight, he had a personal circumstance that prevented him from being here. So, either Dale, the former building inspector, or Chris would know if they have that.
Does the title company also know that?
The title company would flag that, yes.
Yeah. All right,
Yeah.
so the guy had to get title insurance, he would.
Right, if you buy with cash, you may not, there's no law that requires you even to have an attorney, Jeff.
No.
I just,
Running, it's a,
yeah,
involved in a thing in the Springfield, right away, same thing, property was subdivided, sold, and all that transfer information.
well, I'll tell you what my advice is as an attorney in general, and which I do whenever I buy properties. The deed says at the bottom, subject to all covenants and restrictions of record.
Yeah.
You can't, that doesn't tell you anything.
Yeah.
You have to get all the deeds all the way back, and they're available in the county court, and they'll, pull them for you.
Yeah.
Look, should I write the letter? Yes. Yeah, building inspector.
Mike, you can do whatever you please, I think it might be it's reasonable to do something like that.
Yeah, you should feel free to
So,
do that,
so you
yeah.
put that in the the record for, that goes, travels with these notes.
It's just a reminder.
Just a
You
reminder,
should
it's on
know
the plan,
already,
you know,
but
it
it doesn't hurt.
You might include a copy of this that doesn't show it, and say, look, I'm just concerned, and I don't want this to be an issue that bites me 2 years from now, and all of us are maybe gone. There's a whole new case.
But any development on that lot, we're gonna come back to maybe we're a
Well, it depends on what it is,
Commercial zone.
if it's a house, it
Yeah.
has to come back,
It always have to come back here,
That's
The question is, you're gonna have some,
very good.
it could result in a prospective purchaser who spent his money being surprised. He didn't do his due diligence.
Well, then he could sell it again.
Yeah. You sell the money for a dollar. Okay, all right.
Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Anyone else have something for the open forum? The opportunity is nice and cool in here. Don't cut us short tonight. You got all roast. Okay, nothing heard. I'll make a motion to close the open forum for the town of Dwaynesburg Planning Board, June 20th, 2024 meeting.
Schmidt,
Yes.
Hoffman,
Yes.
Howard,
Yes.
Walpole, yes. Oh, Harris.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, the next item is sketch plan review, which we have nothing on tonight's agenda. The next item would be public hearings. Teresa has already explained that Kruger Energy is not going to be the subject of a public hearing this evening, and we apologize for that, any confusion. The next one is Robert Tuttle, 722 Schoolmaker Road. 772. Is it 772? Yeah. Okay. Again, there, 772. All right, so special use permit for a two-family dwelling.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I'm Gary Richardson, I live 772 Schoonmaker Road.
let's put them.
I'm representing Robert Tuttle. So we're applying for a two-family consideration. Only because remortgaging, we found out that state law, if you have two kitchens in your home, apparently you have to have your house classified as a two-family home. We're not looking to rent it out, but we just want to stay compliant. We've had our well is good, over 10 gallons a minute. Our septic is over 1,200 gallons. We should maintain two families if that ever becomes an issue. Plenty of parking. I think we're all compliant as far as that goes. We had not had on the lower level a final inspection, which I would have to get with Chris to do a final on that. We actually had all of our roughs in when we built the house.
Mhm.
That was all done by Dale. So we just need to get a final from Chris.
Location map for the audience. Can you show just where we are?
Little house here.
Yeah.
Plenty of driveway. It's a cape. The upstairs is never, there's not even stairs going to the second floor. That's for family down the road maybe. The first floor is 2 bedrooms, 1 bath, kitchen, and then the lower level is 1 bedroom, kitchen, bath, living room.
As part of this, the approval would be to use that as a two-family dwelling,
Right,
put the kitchen downstairs.
right.
So no new construction.
No new construction.
Okay.
No.
All right, with that explanation, I'll make a motion to open the public hearing for the Robert Tuttle special use permit.
Schmidt,
Yes.
Walpole, yes. Hoffman,
Yes.
Howard,
Yes.
Harris, yes.
So anyone in the audience, or I don't know if we can get comments online, but
We haven't
No.
closed it.
we can't. Okay. Anyone have any comments to offer on this proposal?
Make a motion to close the public hearing.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah, they can't read that. Walpole,
Yes.
Howard,
Yes.
Hoffman. Yes. Schmidt
Yes.
and Harris, yes.
There's no secret, is it?
This is a type 2 action under secret. So that means it's exempt and you don't need to do anything.
Okay, so we can make a motion.
unless we have any conditions.
Does anybody on the board have any concerns?
So, this is no more formalities.
Okay.
If, and I mentioned, not to rent it out, if they decide to rent out in the future, do they have to come back? Or
Nope.
it's already approved? So,
It's an
okay.
approved.
Yeah, everything's,
Okay.
everywhere, you know, according to Chris, everything is good, the well,
Yeah.
septic, all that, the driveways. It's basically family overflow and it was coming from out of town.
Yep. No conditions of the board and seeker statement. I'll make a recommendation to approve the Robert Tuttle special use permit for a two-family dwelling.
Second?
Schmidt,
Yes.
Hoffman,
Yes.
Walpole. Yes. Howard
Yes.
and Harris, yes.
Okay, so just ensure that Chris is on board with everything you're doing.
Yep, I've already got the permit in with him. When I put this permit, in, I gave him that permit
And this permit will facilitate the rest of it.
and he'll receive that and then he'll schedule
Yep.
a final permit.
Okay.
Alrighty.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Have a good night.
Okay, we're on to old businesses. Our next item, we have no more public hearings. So.
Very good.
Okay. All right, John James on Chadwick Road seeks a minor subdivision of one lot and two lots. John? Okay, must be getting tired of coming to these meetings. We've done every one.
He's not.
Okay, so where are we on this? You've been here before.
Yeah, the only reason we had to table it was because we hadn't gotten back the approval from the county. But I called Chris a couple weeks ago and it came back. So.
Just gonna show,
Yeah, so this is all the one lot, but we're just subdividing this right here. For us to build a home on, kind of almost right in the middle. It already has a well. We had a perk test done this week and the engineer's working on that. Line for us. 5.36 acres. Yeah, I was gonna say, this and here and here.
And you'll have to get it from
County Road, Chadwick.
Yeah.
So you should make that a condition. And, condition that they get the septic approved by the county.
Yeah, that's what we're in the process of.
And then there's just the standard notes that we always require. So, and it's a type 2 action again, just a single family house.
It's required public hearing?
That's what we did last
We
week.
did.
Oh, we did, oh.
The only thing we couldn't go through and make a recommendation.
Right, thank you.
okay, good, all right.
In a hurry.
So somebody wants to make a motion with those conditions.
Matt, go ahead.
I make a motion to approve the John James minor subdivision with the following conditions. That the curb cut for the residential home receive a county highway work permit. And the residential septic system receive Schenectady County Department of Health approval prior to issuance of building permit. Right?
And yep, that's right. And the standard conditions be placed on.
Yeah, and the standard conditions for a minor subdivision be placed on the
Flag.
the plat.
Plat.
Final plat for the subdivision.
Second that motion.
Our secretary, a little bit slow tonight.
And I wasn't gonna read this either, that's the bad part.
Okay, and that was that said second? Okay, so Hoffman,
Yes.
Houghton,
Yes.
Walpole,
Yes.
Harris, yes, and Schmidt.
Yes. Okay, so you're gonna be good to go.
Okay. Thank you.
Keep working with Chris.
Yeah.
Partial on, and that's it, sure. Okay, next item under old business is Thomas Samuelson. Wants to convert the existing residential building at the intersection of Route 20 and 7 into a two-family unit. We had a lot of discussions as to parking and was parking adequate or not adequate for two families, and we put some conceptual restrictions on and asked them to do some parking lot design, put up some fencing, and some bollards so that people don't drive off the end of this little wall. So, Thomas, can you show us what you've done so far?
Bollards and
Okay.
that keeps somebody from driving off that wall. It's basically less than 4 feet high, and then fencing with no parking signs. And DOT has approved the entrance. Had to get a permit for that. It's been approved. And there's another fence over here. I don't know if you have a picture that shows, yeah, that fence there, which both fences are right on the right of way, which is 33 feet back. Well, they're probably a foot back from the right of way, just to make sure not. And also just a little bit off the town's property here.
And you are capable of placing how many vehicles in that space?
4.
4.
Yeah, each vehicle needs 20 by 9 according to ordinances or whatever. And there was 44 feet, but now there's only 42 because of the bollards. But that makes available 2 parking places. Actually 4 parking places, 2 for each apartment.
Part of our concerns was, parking enough for 2 separate, two separate occupants in that house, whether there's 4 cars or 5 cars or visitors. But I think part of our approval would be that there's no parking greater than 4 cars. And I think that should, I know you intend to sell it, I believe. And that the prospective purchaser be aware of the fact that you no more than 4 cars parked there, because you can see it being mismanaged very easily, and especially if you don't disclose that, it'll carry with the special use permit. Again, like we talked in the open forum, these things get inked in our notes and in the permits, but when the realtor gets them, you don't know what a realtor does.
I think the board hasn't had a public hearing on this one yet.
No.
Yeah,
No.
so the
So we're gonna schedule, I think you've done what we have requested you to do. The parking on the west side now is completely cut off, right? Fence goes.
Yeah, the fence, yeah.
Okay,
They put dirt and plenty of grass there. So
okay.
I thought this was the public hearing. I was told.
No, we wanted to make sure all that,
We gotta finalize the plan.
yeah. So I think what we'll do now is schedule a public hearing. I make a motion to schedule a public hearing for the Thomas Samuelson special use permit for our next meeting, which is July 18th. July 18th. Yes.
Hoffman. Yeah. Walpole. Yes. Houghton.
Yes.
Harris. Yes.
Okay, so we'll see you on the 18th and
Table this.
Well, we send a public
Okay.
hearing. so-
public hearing. And we'll entertain public comments at that point, and if they are favorable, then maybe good to go. Okay. All right, thank you. The next is CTEC Solar. Anybody from CTEC? Yeah, okay.
It's on Scorpio with Tetra Tech, and we are assisting CTEC with permitting process. We've got Bob Emilio with me, he's one of our civil engineers, and Mike Lewis, who is from CTEC.
Okay.
So we had a few objectives coming here tonight, and I see you've got some items in the agenda as well. First of all, we wanted to provide hard copies of updated documents that I sent this past Monday in our second round response to the town's designated engineer. So we have those.
Have you been communicating with Doug Paul directly a lot?
Not directly, no. I mean, I've sent the items to him directly, but no conversation necessarily.
One thing that we encourage is that when we hire the town designated engineer, that there's some interaction other than every third Thursday of the month.
Right.
So that when you come here for your public hearing, Doug's fine with everything, all the, T's are crossed and lowercase G is dotted. Yeah, so.
Yeah, the second round, we just received, I think it was June 6th, so we were able to respond on the 17th, but that was sort of the soonest, and it did go directly to Doug,
Okay.
but he addresses his responses to you.
Yes.
So it's, yeah.
Yeah, Doug's very confident and he's had a lot of experience with these solar projects in this area, so.
Okay.
It's good to,
But the bulk of the items that he had comments on, we returned our response to those on the 24th of May. So I'm assuming that the board had a chance to review at least the updates that were made from that round. And the follow-up was relatively minor. A lot of it had to do with the decommissioning plan, more so adding soil sampling and soil amendment costs to the cost estimate and ensuring that we incorporated the 125% of the cost estimate for the bond, which we had, but now we've added some additional items, so the amount has gone up. And we also had some updates to the SWIP.
There was some realignment of the panels and things like that, right? The different size panels there. Wasn't there?
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
That was in the May
Yeah.
resubmission. Yeah, yep.
And that affected the SWIP.
It did.
Yeah.
And it affected some of the
Survey.
okay.
But yes, the realignment doesn't do the survey.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we also, in compliance with the April amendment to the solar law, we've submitted a geotechnical engineering report. So you should have that as well. So like I was saying, we do have some objectives tonight. One was to give you the hard copies of the items that I just mentioned. We also wanted to field any questions that you have based on, like I said, you have some bullet points here in the agenda. So we're here as the panel to respond to your questions. And then to gain an understanding of the planning board's next steps, what the timeline is, when we could schedule a public hearing, when you could declare the application complete. I know application complete comes before the public hearing. But yeah, just and seeker review. So kind of getting an understanding of what we're looking at over the coming couple of months, maybe.
On the secret front, so this is a type one action, I believe, so we did a notice of intent to be lead agency and sent it out to involved agencies. I don't believe,
That was done.
I don't believe any involved agencies that, so we're doing, so also we need to do the EAF part one and all the documentation you give us. And probably it would make sense to have Doug here next time. Yeah, to go through all that with us as well, so we're sure we've got everything. But if you want to go ahead and address the issues that are in the agenda, that would be a good start.
I also wanted to point out, we should have a copy of the agricultural data statement, which the town needs to sign. That was one item that I mentioned a couple of times. So, yeah, right there.
And that data statement needs to go to the county plan, along with a complete copy of everything, just for the referral.
So town has to sign that and then send it to the county? Is that?
That's reviewed by Dale.
Yeah, I think Dale typically signs those.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I get, Chris isn't here tonight. It would really be Chris, not Dale. Yeah. But I'm just saying that the reason why that's important is the ag data statement has to go to the county with the referral. That's all.
I've got a question. One of the things that we talked about a while ago was the use of the limited use porous access road. We talked about the concerns that we have with the soils here and the penetrometer testing and everything else, and as required by DEC, plus the construction, during construction, it can't be a porous road. And I see in your response to Doug's email, it says the temporary access road has been removed. So what were you guys doing?
So the road originally was designed to follow a path to go outside, because you obviously can't compact the porous road, like you said, but due to the means and methods of the contractor, there's gonna be a note that said means and methods of construction access are up to the contractor to develop and maintain.
So you're still proposing a limited porous access road?
At this time, yes.
Okay. So, and if you're not doing a temporary access road, how are you gonna access the site?
Well, there's gonna be a note on there, but we do not anticipate to design a temporary road, because that's for the contractor at a later time.
Actually, no, that doesn't work. You have to
Yeah.
decide everything you want to build now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it has to be on the site plan in
Okay.
order for us to approve it. This is what happened with Oak Hill. So when you send your EPC to us, that EPC better have the site plan we approved, or we start all over again. Okay, so I don't know how to adequately express my frustration that this happened last time. It cannot happen with another solar project. We spent a lot of time, Doug spends a lot of time going through everything you give us. If your contractor comes in with something different, that's it. Okay, then you all have to come back. We have to redo seeker potentially. We have to redo the SWIP. We're not up for that.
Right.
You gotta design an access road.
Yeah.
Right. There's no way to get in to suggest that the contractor's means and methods to get in there is not gonna apply, because there's no way in the soil condition that you're not gonna have an access road. There's no way to construct it, I'll tell you right now.
Really, really bad.
Yeah. You'll be pump and play flow there.
So, and that's why if you're going to use one access road, I don't see how you're gonna have the porous access road.
Yeah, there's always an option to decompact, but that's money, that's why, so.
Well, yeah, because you gotta rip out what you just put in. I've cited a lot of solar projects and nobody wants to do that. So it's design it once, from my experience, design it once, dry soils alongside of it, treat the impervious area and go from there.
And you're ready to access for maintenance anyways.
Yeah, the limited access road allows for that, but it doesn't allow for the construction activities.
Yeah, I guess the reason the proposed pervious road was chosen is because without that, in order to treat an impervious surface on a site with grades such as that, is going to require a lot of grading. So in order to reduce the amount of grading, we opted to use a pervious design. So they just.
Yeah, but even the pervious design, forget the construction activity on it.
Mhm.
I doubt those soils are gonna meet the requirements for the pervious design to start with. Based on the soils that I know we have here, because the DEC notes on that pervious access road, you have to do penetrometer testing every 100 feet.
Yes.
And it has to show that the soil has ability to.
Well, yeah, actually, so I've been in contact with DC about this and they said, that if the soils, it just has to, the subgrade has to be the same pre-construction and post-construction. They don't, specifically note like soil values with penetrometer tests, to compare to. So as long as the pre-development subgrade remains the same post-development, it meets their criteria. But I understand the concern with the compaction. of everything.
So what is the geotechnical report saying about the soils now that we have that?
They said the proof, the design, the two options is subject to a proof roll. That's one, and then the other is additional, like a top course of fines to help stability.
I believe that would meet the requirement of the forest owner.
Right.
So I think you're gonna have to design the road as impervious.
Yep.
I would suggest that I spoke with Doug Cole this morning about this and that, one of your representatives gets together with Doug Cole and Matt. That's a SWIP engineer for the local jurisdiction. And get this issue straightened out so that it doesn't, become wanting. It's not rocket science, but it's gotta be done. Can't leave it up to the contractor. We've had that experience with several projects and believe me, it's beyond a nightmare. And you don't want to go back to square one, ever.
Yeah, we don't want to do that.
So,
Or Chad. You have a contractor that doesn't build it to the design.
yeah.
That's
Yep. And we will, our TD will be inspecting, periodically some of the, steps in the process so that, we're gonna have eyes and ears on it, just, you guys.
There's something about a lay down area being added to the plan.
Yes, it was added, I think, the last round, but yeah, there's a laydown section.
Or are you stabilizing that area before you use it as a staging area for your materials or?
It'll be about 4 inches of gravel. And then, above geotextile.
Removed on completion of the project.
That's-
Inspected,
yeah.
Brought back to. Variable site view.
Correct.
Yeah, so you got that, that's a big ticket item. Okay, noise analysis.
Yeah, the noise analysis, I'm not sure what your concern was there. Doug didn't have a concern with the way the report was. It was based on the previous configuration, but I talked with our acoustic engineer and he said the location of the noise generating components is negligible, the difference between what would be heard on adjacent residences with ambient noise. It would still be below the threshold.
Are those like string inverters or are they inverters at the end, large inverters?
They're single axis tracker, so.
I thought there were, yeah, I think they're string.
They're strings. And there's stationary panels, they're not, are they trackers
The
or?
tracks.
Okay.
So there'd be two noise emitters, there's the tracking motors and the inverters. The string inverters tend to be the louder of the two inverters in the centralized, from my experience. But also the the inverters are typically the thing that the fire department wants access to. So you've got to make sure the emergency access drives and turnarounds get to all of the string inverters. So there's going to be more roadway associated with string inverters than centrally located inverters. That's one of the things that solar companies look at is, do we move from string inverters to centralized inverters so we don't have to build as much road? And in this case, it's going to be impervious road. So that you may want, I don't know if that makes a difference to you guys.
We have to look because more roadway for more access means more stormwater, means more grading.
Yeah.
Okay.
And less space build.
Yeah.
So
So you may want to go to centralized.
Yes.
The same comment on another solar application.
Okay.
And I think if that does change, then obviously the noise analysis, you shed analysis might have to be updated because you're gonna figure roads where the panel. will be. Plus maybe potentially change the current type and location. That's happening.
Yeah, but it's certainly changing, but I would say if their response is we've changed X, Y, and Z. And because of that, the noise analysis is less than or equal to the original. I mean, you guys gotta justify it. I'm not saying it is, but if that's the case, and you make an argument and Doug agrees with that argument, then a new noise analysis might not be warranted. But you've gotta justify it and make the case.
Great. So we talked about the access road, noise analysis. There was an item on here for pond hydrant. But we don't have a pond. It's a drainage basin, but it's not expected to have standing water.
Yeah.
The homeowner's pond, or, oh, the wetland in the northwest corner?
Like hooking up with a hydrant, like a drafting?
I mean, that's the only pond that I remember talking about.
There's
Yeah,
one.
I think the best thing is to talk to the Esperance Fire Department and see what they recommend. They may already have a pond with a hydrant in the area that they draw water off of. So we're just trying to identify sources of water for firefighting purposes because there's no public water. Okay, there may not.
That's
even
like-
be-
More than one northwest.
Yeah, but I don't see. Yeah. Quite a way.
And we had kind of an exhaustive firefighting training session with one of our former solar projects, and, you know, the water is good for collateral damage. I mean, you can't spray water on its panels and nothing's gonna happen.
Well, it's still up there, it's also.
But, so talk to, as long as you coordinate with the Esperance Fire Department, they say, we're fine with, you know, as long as we have access to the perimeter so that there's no, you know, spreading, if there is an incident, that it doesn't spread off site. I think they would be fine, but that's their call, not the board's. We'll acquiesce to whatever they recommend.
Have you talked to them yet?
No, we haven't.
Okay. And we didn't, that's, not Denver.
Yeah.
So before you come next time, if you could have talked to them and if met with them if at all possible, we really need them part of this. And they're used to doing it because they've done it on the other solar projects.
Okay, and what was the gentleman's name, Matt?
I do know her. Yeah,
And then coordinated review. Was an item on the agenda. I'm not sure what that refers to.
I don't know. It's-
No, we already did that. We sent that out, so, I don't believe that, I haven't seen any comment letters come in from the other agencies. So I guess, and I assume nobody else has them in their packet, so.
That's on us to coordinate.
Yeah, that's not
If we get feedback from other, you know, political entities.
Sure.
Then we incorporate that.
Did DEC require you to do any surveys for brown nesting birds or anything like that?
No, we did, we checked the list of endangered species, state listed species, and the northern long-eared bat was really the only one of concern. So we did do a habitat survey for the NLEB and found that there are some snag trees that could potentially provide roosting trees, but the recommendation is to not remove those trees between, I think it's April first and November first. So any tree removal, and it would only be in the hedgerow areas, so it's more or less isolated trees. Would be over the cold season, basically when they're hibernating. Yeah, very minimal. Yeah. Yeah.
So.
I think the big thing is to get a revised set of plans in with those.
For the access.
Stormwater changes, because like you said, it's gonna be fairly significant, it's gonna change the NOI, it's gonna change the SWIP, it's gonna change everything, get those in. So we can get those reviewed and approved, reviews, comments back.
Yeah.
So if you don't mind, you would meet with us? You and
We
Chris
can
would-
do, we can set up a Teams call or.
Thank you.
And
Yeah, that's, our next meeting would be July 18th. That could get resolved.
I don't know.
10 days before that, I'm not sure you can do it by then, but, then we can do that.
Yeah, I think it'd be hard pressed to, you guys set up the meeting, get the meeting, get the comments addressed and get it in time, 10 days before. With
Yeah.
4th of July.
Yeah, it's not gonna happen by July 8th.
Maybe if you can do the pre-work with Doug, address all
Mhm.
his
Yep,
remaining
I think that's
comments,
a good
deal
idea.
with the SWIP issue. Then at that meeting, we can do the referral to county planning with all the new documentation, because we have to give them a full record. And then we could set the public hearing for September potentially. Right.